In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a house that was deemed the most haunted house in America. But I have found some evidence, and some pretty good evidence, that this is no longer the case. And what you've been hearing is a complete hoax. So this video is going to go into debunking the Willows Weep supposedly haunted house. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I do scary facts, phobia, true crime videos, and I also like to draw something relating to what I am talking about to add that extra bit of horror to all of it. So what I'll do is I will go over all the facts of this Willows Weep house, of what they have been saying about this house, and all the stories that have been told about what happens in that house. Then I will get into the evidence that completely debunks this case. So if you're not familiar with the Willows Weep house, it is in Cayuga in Indiana. This house was supposedly deemed to be the most evil and haunted house in the whole of America. There apparently has been numerous suicides, mysterious deaths, and paranormal activity that is completely rampant in this house. The biggest thing that makes this house quite eerie is the fact that it's shaped like a cross. This supposedly frightening home was constructed in the 1800s and lays on top of a crossroads between two rivers. Now they reckon that this was maybe the reason why there was such negative and evil energy that lurked in this location. Naturally, paranormal investigators have been drawn to this place and have claimed to have seen shadow figures, hear voices, and have been physically attacked by entities with things that have been thrown at them. Now, another alleged piece of information to do with this property is apparently the land and where the house resides on was supposed to be part of the Native American history and is said to be an ancient burial ground and burial site, which happened after a certain battle that happened there. And there is apparently potentially bones up under the house. Now, the previous owner, Brenda Johnson, said that the house tried to kill her. Her son had boards fly off at him while he was working on the ceiling. Doors would slam on Brenda, and they had been left bruised, scratched, and physically marked, and feared for their lives. Now, Brenda then sold the home to paranormal investigator David Spinks. And Brenda said that she was extremely relieved to move far, far away from this terrifying house. And Brenda always became physically sick when she was around the house. One of the theories of this house was it was built in the shape of a cross to not protect what was inside, but to stop whatever it was from leaving. Possibly to trap demonic entities. The house is approximately 1,427 square foot, built in 1890 by Annuel Sykes. Apparently, he later died in the bathtub. Now, apparently this Annuel guy was superstitious, and apparently this is why he built windows in the corners of the house. There has been 2 suicides, 1 hanging, a family murdered in there, and 3 men had been poisoned 6 months before Brenda bought the house. And one of the stories was that a man had committed suicide in the chair that still remains in the house today, and it is stained with blood because apparently he shot himself, got out of the chair and crawled to the corner of the room, and that's where he died. This man had committed suicide because 6 years prior, his wife had committed suicide via overdose in one of the bedrooms. Another conspiracy too was that people tried to trim the willow tree that lies in front of the house, and attempts have broken people's backs and seriously harmed them by falling off the ladder. There also was a story that there was a witch that was hung in that willow tree at the front of that house. And they reckon that that explained some of the hauntings and the violent poltergeist activity. There was also a story about a demonic looking burn mark on the wall. Apparently this burn mark is in the shape of a devil or a goat's devil head, and it sat below where a cross used to hang above it. A maintenance man was called in to climb under the house to check the pipes, and he needed to clear a couple of mounds of dirt to be able to get through to have a look. He started to clear some of the dirt and found a bone, and it appeared to be human sticking out of one of the mounds. So he grabbed it, and apparently he was attacked by something. He said he had to fight for his life to get out from underneath the house. He gave the bone to Brenda, and he told Brenda that he was never going to set foot in that house ever again or work on that house again. So apparently Brenda then got the human bone tested for DNA to find out who this bone belonged to, and this is where the story got a little bit I don't know, this is a bit weird, this one. Nothing was done because apparently the bone tested that old, and it was of a young girl, this so-called scientist, and the cops told her to put the bone back under the house. The house is still owned by Dave Spinks and is supposedly used for paranormal experiments and paranormal investigation. But this is where we can debunk it now. So back in 2019, on a TV show that William Shatner hosted called Unexplained, they went through what was going on in this house, and David Spinks was on the show talking about what had happened and was having a conversation with Brenda. And yeah, you can go and find this on YouTube. Just go and have a look for Willow's Weep Unexplained, and go and check it out for yourself. What words were exchanged? It was basically Brenda talking to David about what was going on in the house, and then he said he was going to buy it off of her. Now, I am not sure if Unexplained knew what was going on or if they were a part of it, but what was said about the house in this particular episode was all a load of shit. And past owners of the house were trying to get in contact with the show to tell them that it was all a bunch of lies. Now, one particular Facebook page that I stumbled across when I was researching this particular house, because a lot of things just didn't make sense, and one of them was the fact that they still had the chair that the guy had supposedly committed suicide in, still in the house, along with some belongings. As far as I'm concerned, if that happened, that chair would not be there. It would be removed. And this is where things started to get a little bit, I don't know, unbelievable. So when I decided to look into it further, I found a Facebook page called Willow's Weep Debunked. It is run by Haley Ray. Now, it was actually her parents that owned the house and she even lived in there herself. And it was her mother and her stepfather that supposedly had committed suicide in the house. Now, her stepfather did, but apparently he didn't do it in the chair. He actually done it in a bed. But her mother actually had a heart attack and actually died on the way to hospital, so she didn't actually die in the house. And this is Kurt and Cheryl Skinner. So Unexplained in a couple of documentaries go into how the chair was the original chair that he had shot himself in, and all this sort of stuff. Also, like his boots, and he had a hat on the chair. It was all from Kurt, and it wasn't. It was all props. The whole house has apparently been staged to look like a haunted, horrible, creepy looking house. Now, I highly recommend that you go across to this Facebook page. I will have a link below. Go and have a look at all of Hayley's evidence, and well, she knows firsthand about this particular house, and she's had her own paranormal people come in, and yes, they did pick up a couple of voices on their voice box, but there was nothing out of the ordinary that explains what David Spinks is going on about. So it looks like that maybe he was potentially trying to put this house up in the haunted aspect and trying to lift the price up, and then maybe going to pick this house up, make it famous, make the cost of this house go through the roof, and then maybe flip it for a profit. That's what it seems like. This is alleged, like, this is my opinion, but it looks like that he could have been doing that. And there's just too many people coming out that used to live in the house and know the history in that area and saying that this is all just completely wrong. It's bullshit. Don't listen to anything to do with this house being absolutely just riddled with paranormal activity. Now, like I said, go visit the Facebook page, go and sort of do your research, make up your own mind. What do you think? There's too much evidence, but let me know what you think. I think it's rubbish. I think that it's been made out to be a profit, and to sort of make it sort of like a tourist attraction type thing. After I've seen all of Unexplained's episodes, like I've seen the couple of seasons that have been released, and I was just like, whoa. But then there was a couple of things that didn't make sense, and that's when you sort of start going into a bit of a deep dive. So I have sort of lost a little bit of faith in Unexplained. I'm not sure. I would actually like to now delve into some of the other cases that Unexplained have been talking about to see if it is actually true. But it looks like, and this is just my opinion, that David Spinks may have potentially put one over Unexplained, or they were both working together and sort of boost cost for this particular house. That's what it looks like. That's just my opinion. So naturally, with the illustration that I decided to do for this video today, I decided to do a weeping willow coming out of the head of someone who is just a head on that's been, you know, the tree's grown up inside the neck and gone up in through the head, and some of the holes are forming in the face. It's just gruesome. It's just a thought that I had when I thought of doing an illustration for this topic, and this is what I came up with, something completely gruesome, and to supposedly represent the conspiracies that came along with this house, and now it looks like it's been debunked. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you have found out about this. Let me know if you know the families that have lived in this place, or, you know, just let me know some more information, because I'm willing to you know, delve into this more and learn more about this, because this is truly interesting, and this looks like to be complete bullshit at its finest on, once again, TV. That's it for me. I'll let you watch the rest of this video. That's what's left of it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.